How to become like Miyamoto Musashi. Unbreakable discipline. What if I told you that a 400-year-old samurai holds the key to your success today? Miyamoto Musashi, legendary warrior who won over 60 duels and mastered everything from swordsmanship to calligraphy. Have you ever stared at an overwhelming task, feeling that same paralyzing self-doubt that strikes us all? Like Jake, my client, who faced a career-changing presentation with trembling hands until he discovered ancient wisdom. Musashi's philosophy addresses the battles we all face daily, against procrastination, self-doubt, and obstacles blocking our potential. Today, we're breaking down his unbreakable discipline and how you can apply it to transform your life. The making of a legend. Miyamoto Musashi wasn't born a legend. He built himself into one through consistent practice and unwavering discipline. When we look at historical figures, we often imagine they were somehow destined for greatness. But Musashi's story shows us something different. He shaped his own destiny through thousands of small decisions and daily habits that added up to extraordinary results. At 13 years old, Musashi won his first duel against an adult samurai. While most children were still learning basic skills, he was already testing himself in life-or-death situations. This victory stemmed from rigorous training that most adults couldn't maintain, not luck or natural talent. His childhood offered no privileges. Born to a lower-ranking samurai family, Musashi lacked special advantages or connections. He attended no elite school, had no famous mentors. What distinguished him was his approach to improvement. Where others practiced when convenient, Musashi practiced constantly. Where others sought comfort, he deliberately embraced discomfort to grow stronger. His relentless pursuit of excellence, forged under challenging circumstances, teaches us that our origins do not define our destiny. This is where your journey connects with his. Your starting point doesn't determine where you'll end up. Your daily habits do. Just as someone practicing guitar for 15 minutes daily will outperform someone who practices occasionally for hours, consistent small actions create extraordinary results. Musashi's life presented constant challenges throughout his 60 years. Rather than avoiding difficulties, he actively sought them. After his early victories, he could have settled into a comfortable position. Instead, he traveled across Japan seeking stronger opponents and new situations to test his skills. He transformed himself from fighter to Renaissance man, mastering calligraphy, painting, poetry, and strategy. He designed buildings and created fine art. Musashi embodied complete human development, applying his discipline to every area of life. His legacy extends beyond his perfect duel record and artistic mastery. Musashi developed a philosophy helping people succeed regardless of circumstances. He discovered how to win at life itself. This philosophy, documented in his Book of 5 Rings, provides a guide to developing the mindset that produces success in any field. He wrote not just for his contemporaries, but for future generations who might never hold a sword, understanding that while specific challenges change, principles of mastery remain constant. The Japan of Musashi's time was chaotic and dangerous. Within this uncertainty, he found opportunity. Today's world differs on the surface, but we face our own chaos. Information overload, constant distraction, economic uncertainty, and performance pressure. His approach to handling fear, making decisions under pressure, and maintaining focus applies perfectly to modern challenges. His emphasis on seeing reality clearly rather than how we wish it to be helps cut through today's noise and confusion. Musashi's gift isn't fighting techniques, but a way of approaching life's challenges with clarity, purpose, and discipline. He demonstrated how consistent practice, honest self-assessment, and strategic thinking transform ordinary people into extraordinary ones. His lessons teach us to become better thinkers, creators, and versions of ourselves. His discipline mastered both body and mind, making him unstoppable then, and offering the same power to you now. The 5 core principles of unbreakable discipline. Behind Musashi's unparalleled success lies a framework of 5 core principles that form the backbone of his philosophy. These aren't complicated techniques that worked only in feudal Japan. They're fundamental truths about human achievement that apply just as powerfully today as they did 4 centuries ago. The first principle might be the most important. The way is in training. Musashi understood something many of us struggle with. Consistency trumps motivation and natural talent. Every time, he practiced sword techniques thousands of times while others rested, showing up day after day regardless of how he felt. This discipline mirrors how our brains form habits through neural pathways strengthened by repetition. Like an executive who reviews key metrics every morning, or an athlete who maintains form drills despite fatigue, Musashi built systems that made practice inevitable rather than optional. Building on this foundation, the second principle extends our focus. Know your enemy and know yourself. This self-awareness creates the foundation for targeted improvement. Similar to receiving a detailed performance review that highlights both strengths and growth areas, Musashi recognized that advancement requires honest self-assessment. The people who progress most quickly in any field clearly see their limitations and work systematically to overcome them. This self-knowledge naturally enhances Musashi's third principle: perceive that which cannot be seen. Through consistent practice and reflection, you develop intuition that reveals patterns others miss. Think of the experienced doctor who notices subtle symptoms, or the parent who recognizes their child's unspoken concerns. This intuition develops through paying attention to details most overlook, allowing you to apply your skills in increasingly complex situations. With these abilities established, Musashi's fourth principle becomes crucial: do nothing which is of no use. In our distraction-filled world, this selective focus may be more valuable than ever. Consider how successful entrepreneurs ruthlessly prioritize projects with the highest return, or how productive writers eliminate unnecessary commitments. This principle teaches us to be intentional with our time and energy, asking whether each activity truly advances our goals. The framework culminates with accept everything just the way it is. This mindset allows for clear-eyed response rather than emotional reaction. Like a company pivoting when market conditions change, or an investor adjusting strategy during economic shifts, Musashi adapted to circumstances instead of fighting reality. This flexibility enabled him to thrive amid uncertainty. Together, these 5 principles create an integrated system for developing unbreakable discipline. Daily training builds skills directed by self-awareness. Intuition applies those skills effectively in complex situations. Focus eliminates distractions that would derail progress, and acceptance grounds you in reality throughout the process. By implementing these principles as Musashi did, we can develop the same unwavering discipline that made him legendary, not through occasional bursts of motivation, but through consistent intentional practice aligned with timeless wisdom. The two-sword technique for modern life. One of Musashi's most revolutionary innovations was his two-sword fighting style, known as Naiten Ichi-ryu. Picture this. While every other samurai wielded their katana with both hands, Musashi stepped onto the battlefield carrying both a long sword and a short sword simultaneously. This represented a complete break from hundreds of years of tradition. In Musashi's time, this approach shocked his opponents, who had trained their entire lives with a single method. Suddenly, they faced someone who created his own path outside established rules. Musashi gained a massive advantage because his opponents couldn't anticipate techniques they'd never encountered before. Just as Musashi broke the mold with his dual swords, modern innovators combine diverse skills to create unique strengths. The people who stand out today combine multiple abilities in ways others haven't considered, rather than mastering a single specialty. In our constantly changing environment, limiting yourself to one area creates significant disadvantages. Musashi's swords represent different types of modern skills. The wakizashi short sword symbolizes fundamental abilities, communication, critical thinking, time management, and emotional intelligence. These form the foundation supporting everything you do. The katana, on sword, represents specialized expertise, technical knowledge, industry experience, or creative talents. Most people develop their specialized katana skills while neglecting fundamentals. The magic happens when both are used together. You become exponentially more valuable by combining technical skills with strong communication, or pairing creative talents with solid time management. Each combination creates an advantage that's difficult to replicate. Modern success stories follow this pattern. Steve Jobs combined technology with design sensibility. Content creators blend expertise with storytelling. Leaders pair industry knowledge with emotional intelligence. Consider a programmer who understands user psychology. They build solutions that are technically sound and intuitively usable. These combinations create distinctive value in crowded markets. Musashi mastered fundamental principles before developing his unique style. He built upon tradition rather than rejecting it outright. This teaches us an important lesson: understand why rules exist before you break them. Many people either follow conventional paths without question, or reject established wisdom without understanding it. Musashi shows us the middle path. Master fundamentals, then build your own approach on that foundation. His greatest advantage came from thinking differently. He won because he found perspectives others missed. This unconventional thinking extended beyond combat into his art, writing, and philosophy. This approach leads to breakthrough results in any field. Innovation comes from questioning assumptions and exploring new territory. Take what works and add your unique perspective. The deepest lesson from Musashi's two-sword technique is about having courage to develop your own path when others doubt you. When he first used two swords, other samurai likely mocked him, despite centuries of tradition supporting their approach. He trusted his judgment enough to continue anyway. This is the courage we all need, to combine skills in ways others haven't considered, to question established practices, and to follow your own path. This is how you transform your field, just as Musashi transformed swordsmanship forever. Forging mental toughness through adversity. What separated Musashi from ordinary warriors was his approach to challenges. Where most people avoid difficulties, Musashi actively sought them out. He viewed each challenge as an opportunity to strengthen himself. Think about how different this mindset is from our natural instincts. When things get hard, we typically look for the exit. Musashi walked straight toward the fire instead. Throughout his career, he deliberately placed himself in difficult situations. He faced opponents with different weapons, fought in unfamiliar terrain, and even challenged entire schools of swordsmanship alone. Each situation created stress and uncertainty. That was exactly the point. By repeatedly exposing himself to controlled challenges, he built extraordinary mental toughness. This approach aligns with modern science on building resilience. Researchers have found that controlled exposure to stress builds psychological strength over time. Like a muscle that grows stronger through resistance training, your mind develops through facing challenges. Musashi practiced specific techniques to build mental toughness. He meditated to remain calm under pressure, isolated himself to face his thoughts without distraction, and embraced voluntary hardship by living simply even when comfortable options were available. He slept outside and ate basic meals by choice. These weren't acts of asceticism, they were deliberate training for his mind. We can adapt these practices to modern life. Take Sarah, who started taking 30-second cold showers each morning. Initially shocking, this daily practice gradually built her resilience, helping her stay composed during stressful work presentations. Others set ambitious deadlines, fast occasionally, or have difficult conversations they've been avoiding. A major obstacle to developing Musashi-like discipline is our comfort addiction. We live in a world designed to eliminate discomfort. Food delivery apps, climate control, and constant entertainment have weakened our ability to handle adversity. Many of us feel disproportionate frustration at tiny inconveniences, when the internet fails, or our food order is wrong. Intentionally creating difficult situations rebuilds that mental toughness. When you regularly expose yourself to challenges, your perspective transforms. Obstacles begin to look like opportunities. Your first thought shifts from "how can I avoid this" to "what can I learn from this?" Exactly how Musashi approached his duels. You can create these growth-producing challenges without dramatic changes. Take different routes to work. Learn difficult skills that place you in the beginner's mindset. Have the conversation you've been postponing. Each step builds your tolerance for uncertainty and discomfort. Mental toughness isn't about never feeling fear or doubt. Musashi certainly experienced these emotions during his duel. It's about acting effectively despite these feelings, acknowledging discomfort without being controlled by it. Even the most disciplined people feel fear, they've simply practiced moving forward anyway. This is perhaps Musashi's most valuable lesson. The path to growth leads through discomfort. There are no shortcuts. If you want to develop beyond your current limits, face challenges directly rather than avoiding them. Practice this consistently, and your capacity for handling life's challenges will grow far beyond what you thought possible. The strategic mind. Thinking beyond the battlefield. For Musashi, strategy wasn't just about winning sword fights. It was a complete approach to life that helped him succeed in everything he did. While most samurai focused only on the moment of combat, Musashi understood that every situation required both immediate actions and long-term planning. He saw connections between seemingly unrelated events and used this broader vision to stay steps ahead of his opponents. This strategic mindset applies perfectly to our modern lives. Consider your career path. Those with strategic minds look beyond their current job to how each role builds toward larger goals. They evaluate how projects develop future skills, which relationships deserve investment, and anticipate industry trends. This transforms routine decisions into strategic choices. In personal relationships, a strategic approach means understanding patterns and addressing root causes rather than merely reacting to conflicts. You build toward the relationship you want long-term. Even personal growth benefits when you connect today's small habits to your future self. Musashi analyzed situations from multiple perspectives before deciding. He considered his position, his opponent's view, and an outside observer's perspective. This three-dimensional thinking revealed options others missed. Apply this to your next important decision. When considering a career move, examine it from your perspective: what you want, your employer's view, what they need, and the industry's perspective, where things are heading. This broader analysis often reveals unexpected insights. Strategic thinking helps avoid emotional reactions that derail success. When criticized, instead of immediate defensiveness, a strategic thinker pauses to consider the long-term impact of different responses. What can you learn? How will your response affect the relationship? What outcome do you actually want? This pause creates space for better decisions. Central to Musashi's approach was emptiness, maintaining mental clarity in chaos. This means clearing away mental clutter and seeing situations as they actually are. During work deadlines or personal crises, this approach helps you acknowledge pressure while maintaining focus on what matters most. Strategic thinking requires seeing both details and the big picture simultaneously. You must understand how specific actions connect to larger outcomes. Practice this daily by connecting tasks to bigger goals and breaking down goals into specific actions. Try this exercise. For your next 3 decisions, consider the immediate impact, the 1-year impact, and potential unexpected outcomes. This trains your brain to think beyond the moment. Perhaps Musashi's greatest strategic advantage was patience. In our world of quick results and instant gratification, the ability to wait for the right moment is increasingly rare. Musashi would wait for his opponent to make a mistake rather than forcing an attack prematurely. This patience is the hardest strategic skill to master. We feel pressure to act immediately, to show constant progress. Yet sometimes the strategic choice is to wait, observe, and prepare. Those who resist the urge to rush often discover better opportunities with less effort. True strategy isn't about being busy. It's about taking the right action at precisely the right time. Living the way of the warrior today. Bushido. The way of the warrior wasn't just a code for samurai on ancient battlefields. It's a practical philosophy you can apply to your life today. The principles Musashi lived by weren't meant to stay in feudal Japan. They were designed to help anyone face life's challenges with discipline and purpose. Let's bring Musashi's approach into your daily routine. Start with your mornings. The way you begin your day sets the tone for everything that follows. Musashi began each day with purpose, training, meditation, and preparation. You can transform your modern morning routine by waking up 30 minutes earlier for brief exercise, 5 minutes of mindfulness meditation, and planning your 3 priorities before checking emails or social media. Apply deliberate practice to whatever skills you're developing throughout your day. Focus your effort with the intention to improve specific aspects of your performance. Musashi lived his art every day. Whether you're learning a language, improving at your job, or building a creative skill, apply this same focused attention. End each day with reflection. Take 10 minutes to review what went well, what didn't, and what you learned. This builds self-awareness and helps you adjust your approach for tomorrow. Musashi constantly evaluated his techniques, refining them based on real-world results. Implement these principles with a 30-day commitment. Week 1. Focus on morning routines and eliminating distraction. Week 2. Apply deliberate practice to your most important skill. Week 3. Implement regular reflection. Week 4. Integrate all practices into a sustainable system. Small daily actions create powerful long-term results. Consistent effort compounds in surprising ways. Each day you show up, you lay another brick in the foundation of your discipline. The battles we face today look different from Musashi's sword duels, but require the same mental strength. We fight against distractions, instant gratification, and resistance to taking the harder path. When distractions tempt you, remember Musashi's principle of doing nothing which is of no use. When you want immediate rewards, recall his patience in mastering skills over decades. When facing resistance, think of how he sought out challenges rather than avoiding them. Consider James, a software developer who implemented these principles. After following the Musashi morning routine for 3 months, my productivity doubled. By applying deliberate practice to coding and reflecting daily on my work, I solved problems that had stumped me for years. Track your results, just as Musashi refined his techniques. Keep a simple journal noting your adherence to key habits and the outcomes. Notice patterns and adjust your approach accordingly. Musashi understood different situations require different strategy. For fitness goals, focus on proper form and progressive improvement. For career advancement, strategically develop skills that create unique value. For learning, break the process into manageable parts and practice with full attention. Remember that perfection isn't the goal. Musashi embraced failure as a teacher. The ultimate aim is continuous improvement, becoming slightly better each day. Some days you'll fall short. This isn't failure, it's feedback. The warrior's path is about learning from mistakes and continuing forward. By applying these principles consistently, you develop more than discipline. You build a mindset that transforms how you see challenges, turning obstacles into opportunities for growth. The principles we've explored from Musashi are tools you can use today. His approach to discipline transforms what you do and who you become through simplicity and proven effectiveness. Start with just one principle, perhaps daily practice or strategic thinking. Apply it consistently for 2 weeks before adding another. Remember Musashi's words, "Today is victory over yourself of yesterday. Tomorrow is your victory over lesser men." This insight reminds us that true strength builds through small, consistent actions that compound over time. Your path to unbreakable discipline begins with a single step today. Take that step and watch your discipline transform.